Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and you guys absolutely smashed that last video. 3,000 views, 77 likes, and 30-ish comments that were super, super supportive or just talking about the video. Very, very cool that you guys did that. And like I had in the pinned comment, if this video does well, I'm doing another tier list. So this time, I'm doing a tier list of my own since no one has commented a tier list that they want to see yet. And that's going to be a tier list of the operators in Operation Riptide. So without further ado, let's get it started from the bottom up. So first things first, I'm going to definitely mispronounce a lot of these guys' names since they're not American and I am American. That's just kind of an American type of thing. Anyway, we have Promero Tenere, Ten Tenente, I think that's how you say it. So Promero Tenente, probably said that wrong still, but I think it's at least a little bit better. And he looks like a CT operator, and if he is, this is very unique for a CT operator right now. Most CT operators that I can remember off the top of my head are pretty much always either some kind of SWAT officer or some guy with like a gas mask on, and he's neither of those, which already makes him stand out a lot. And he's just kind of got a normal camo getup, just kind of some guy you expect to see hiking through the woods as like a military officer. And he's got a nice bulletproof vest on, and a very nice scarf, and a nice green fishing hat that all match what he's got going on. And yeah, that's a fishing hat. I don't care what you say. It might double as something used elsewhere, but it is very much a fishing hat. That's the type of thing I would expect to see on someone fishing. And it all looks really good. And the one bad thing that really detracts from the skin is this face mask. That white coloring does not go with anything else on here, and it just has these random lines down the side that I don't see why they're there. They just look even worse. And this is really bad when you consider the fact that in CSGO, your main objective is to be headshotting people. So having a completely different colored head that really sticks out from the rest of your kind of setup is pretty bad because that'll draw people's attention to it and it'll make you a lot more easy to headshot just because it's visually easier to headshot you. Even if you're not actually easier to headshot, just drawing your attention towards something like this is a lot easier than, let's say, if you had a green face mask on, or just didn't even have a face mask on, honestly. And it just doesn't look very good when combined with the rest of the skin, but the rest of the skin is super unique, so just for that, I'm gonna have to put him as definitely one of the better operators in this collection. And next up, we have Aspirant, who is just the standard kind of counter-terrorist setup. He's got some protective shoulder and knee pads, and for some reason he has a samurai helmet, which, when combined with those shoulder and knee pads, makes me think they're trying to go for like a samurai SWAT. But this backpack doesn't seem to suggest that he's a samurai SWAT. It's just the skin seems to be confused. I don't really know what they were going for, and I don't think they really do either. I think they just tossed some random assets together and just hope no one would notice. But I very much did, and I think he's definitely not that good of an operator. I'm going to put him down all the way at the bottom unless something worse comes along, because most of the operators are really well designed. So seeing one that isn't is definitely very noticeable. Next up, we have D Squadron Officer. And like I was saying, the standard CT getup is either a guy in a SWAT clothing or a guy with a gas mask. And this is just a guy with a gas mask. He just has your standard radio. And I think I saw like a pair of pliers or something a second ago. Yeah, handcuffs? I don't know what these are right here. Not sure what those are supposed to be, but the rest of him is just. I would actually not be surprised if most people confuse this for one of the standard non like special operators because he just looks like one. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with the standard operator, so just for that, I can keep him a bit higher on the tier list, but not too high. He's just kind of what you'd expect. So I'm going to put him right in the C tier. That's kind of just the operator you expect to exist. It's nothing unique, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Then we have Jungle Rebel, which is just the standard terrorist. I'm pretty sure if you ask anyone to describe the standard terrorist operator before operators were added in CSGO, they would probably describe something like this. He has the exact getup you expect from a CSGO terrorist, which makes him not very unique, but definitely not bad. So anyone that like that type of terrorist, it's good for them, but I think it's just one of the standard ones. It's kind of at the exact same place as that CT operator. I think they're honestly at the same place, so don't don't think that he's better than that one. I think they're about even. And yeah, that's all I can really say about the Jungle Rebel skin. And then we have Trapper Aggressor, which is a very unique take on terrorist. He has like almost like a casual getup. He literally is wearing sandals. That's the first thing I notice. A man wearing sandals to like an operation is just the most casual shit I've ever seen. And he's also got cargo shorts and a tank top. It's like his average like morning routine. The one thing that takes away from it a bit, I guess, is this face mask covering, kinda, but it actually helps his head be a bit harder to spot because it blends in with the rest of his getup a bit more. And having this little ammo thing around his shoulder is very cool. And also seeing some muscles is always kind of nice. You can't go wrong with that. I think it's a very unique skin, kind of like a casual getup to CSGO, which is very kind of weird to think about, but I think it works pretty well. I'm gonna have to put him at least in the B tier. I might actually move him up later, depending on the other operators. He's definitely not as unique as this CT operator, which you can see actually was CT, so that was a good call on my part. Um, but he's definitely very good. He's definitely better than the standard operator, in my opinion. And yeah, that's the distinguished agents. Now off to the exceptional ones. First up, we have Colonel Mangos Debisi. That's probably incredibly wrong, but he looks like the standard kind of like rebellion officer. If you've ever seen like any movies where there's like a terrorist organization taking over Cuba or something, this is the type of guy you'd see there in this exact outfit, pants, shirt, and beret especially, and always with that kind of goatee and just kind of bulging muscles because he's constantly working out, trying to help out his rebellion. And that's not bad. I would say it's definitely better than the standard operator, but not as good as the casual getup this guy had, which is very unique. Yeah, and off to the next one, which is Seuss Lieutenant Medic, who's just the standard CT operator, but with a medic getup. And he definitely looks a bit like a medic. This light blue, for whatever reason, makes me think of a medic. This backup thing just kind of looks like something a medic would carry around. And the word medic written on the front definitely helps you realize that this guy is a medic. And I don't think there's any medic operators I can remember in CS, so this would kind of stand out a bit. And I think it'd be very nice as an operator. It's a pretty decent design, definitely a bit better than the standard one. And but he's not as I would not say he's as good as these two. So I'm actually gonna have to move these guys down a tier despite them not being any worse, just so I can kind of fit them in between. All right. Next up is Officer Jacques Beltram, I'm assuming. Who's just the standard seats he got up, except with a different head. He even has the standard like baton that you expect to see. And I don't know, that hat and head aren't very imposing and don't feel too unique. And if anything, I feel it's a bit worse than the standard operator. Definitely not as bad as that kind of samurai thing they were trying out, but it's just not very unique. So I'm gonna put him right there at the top of F tier. I think that's kind of where he belongs. And next up, we have Lieutenant Treehugger Farlow, who has a scout getup. This is what you'd expect from like a SWAT like scout, like someone's gonna scout out the area, see what's going on ahead, kind of hiding in the bushes and stuff. And they even have some stuff on their back that kind of helps that with like a sledgehammer to open some doors, some pliers to cut barbed wire, and this thing, which I don't know what that is, but it's probably also important for that kind of thing. Um, the only problem with this is it's full camo. This is the first operator here that has been full camo, and it doesn't work on like 90% of CS maps. You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb unless you're on like Ancient or Cache. I think those are the two maps where this skin will kind of work, and you won't stick out like more than anyone else on the entire map. But on 99% of CS maps, they're not really that heavy on like having bushes and stuff all over the place. So you're just gonna stick out a ton, and that's not a good thing in CS. You don't want to be super visible. I mean, you still will be with like player contrast and everything, but this just takes it to a new degree, and that's kind of a bad thing. But the overall design is very good. Looks like the average like scout that you'd expect to see. So I'm gonna have to actually put her probably in the C tier as well. Definitely a little bit better than the medic, but not as good as the things in the B tier. And then our final purple is Trapper, who isn't he identical to this guy? Sandals, cargo shorts, tank top, thing in this end. Sandals, cargo shorts, tank top thing on his head. I mean, I guess his tank top's black, so that's a bit more desirable. But since he's a purple, he costs more. I'm just gonna put him lower for that. Straight up, it's the same skin. I don't know why they put two of the same skin, two different tiers. Even from this, you can see they're virtually identical. I guess this guy has like more visually appealing getup, like a blank tank top looks a bit nicer than a white one, but I don't really like this the head stuff he's got on. I think it looks a bit worse than the other guy, and considering he's a purple, I think that's reason enough to just put him lower. Next up, we have the superior agents. So we have Lieutenant Rex Crikey. I guess it's from Australia, just from the Crikey name. He's got some scuba gear. Like it's like one of those scuba masks, I guess. And he's got the flippers, and everything about him is like a bootleg scuba diver. He still has that fishing hat, but he has it like up a bit to the point where it looks like he'd be like a sniper. Um, that's just the kind of vibe I get from that. Not sure why. Kind of reminds me of almost like a cowboy hat with the way he has it curled up, despite it being still that same fishing hat. And the scuba gear does not go too well with a lot of the camo gear he's got on. So I don't know why this guy's a pink. I think he should have been maybe a blue. He could be a purple. He's definitely better than the other guy who's a copy of the other blue skin. But he's not that good. I would say he's probably honestly a bit worse than the standard operator because a lot of what he has going on doesn't go too well with the other stuff. But he's nowhere near as bad as the stuff from the F tier. So I'm gonna keep him at the bottom of the D tier. Worse than the standard operator. But and that's mainly because this scuba gear does not go with all the camo stuff he's got going on. And next we have Chem has Capitaine, and this combines the SWAT officer with the gas mask officer, which is a very cool looking look, especially with that visor, with it being like almost like multicolored fade. It looks really nice. The one thing I gotta say is he also has that samurai helmet we talked about earlier, which detracts from this skin a little bit, but just combining the two different types of standard SWAT operators into one is a pretty cool thing, and I think it works kind of well. So I'm definitely gonna put him above the standard operator. And honestly, he's above these two, but he's not as good as the stuff in the B tier, so I'm gonna keep him right there, in my opinion. And next up, we have Bloody Darryl the Strapped. Now, this is one of those operators that has a watch, which a lot of people like, myself included, because that's the part of the skin that you actually get to see in game. So having a watch is a big plus, even if the skin doesn't look that good, and it really doesn't look that good. This is kind of something straight out of like almost like Payday, like a bank robber. He even has the duffel bag, and he's just got some random mask on him. In this case, it's a snake mask. The mask does not look good. If he didn't have that mask, he'd look a lot nicer. But having that watch is already really good enough. That's all it takes to make an operator good, because that's the part of the skin you'll actually see is like the top of your arm. So despite the skin not looking that nice, I still think he's like a high tier operator. I'm actually gonna put him in the A tier just because having that watch is so cool. I can't really show it off in this video, but having that watch in game is really nice. You just see like a watch on your right arm, which makes you kind of actually be able to see your operator yourself, and it's not just for other people, which I think is one of the main appeals for like skins and gloves, that you actually see them yourself. And actually seeing that watch is a big plus. Next up, we have Elite Trapper Soulman. He's like one of those undercover terrorists. He has like a whole like tourist getup, like the sandals, the like Hawaiian shirt, except with like roses instead of the usual like blooming flowers. And just a lot of this stuff I think you wouldn't see when he's just walking around, especially this thing with these bullets around him. I don't know why that's there. I think it detracts a bit from his skin. Unlike most other operators where it's just like a nice cool feature, I think it kind of takes away from the undercover terrorist that this guy's supposed to be. But it's still a pretty cool skin. Definitely better than the stock operator. I'll give it that. But not really as good as the one that combines both SWATs. I think it's a bit better than Medic though, so I'll give it that. But not as good as the Scatter. I think that's a pretty good place to put him. Just your undercover terrorist type of guy, where like he kind of hides among the hostages, and then eventually, if police does something, he kind of shows himself. And then we have Arno the Overgrown, who is kind of just almost like one of those Vietnam American soldiers you hear so many stories about. Super buff guy in a tank top that clearly has been roughed up and kind of goes through dirt and stuff a lot. Very, very cool operator, especially if he's actually on T side. Um, yeah, that's all I can really say. It just looks really nice, looks really clean. I think he's definitely better than the guys in B tier. I don't know if he's better than having a watch. Actually, I'd say he is. I think he's honestly the best one we've looked at so far. Very simple and clean design, but it just looks good. All right. And now we have the Team Master Agents. So we have this guy, standard Rebellion leader type of guy. Does not look as good as the standard Rebellion officer, in my opinion. So just for that, I'm going to have to put him a bit lower, especially with him costing a bit more too. So I'm going to have to put him right under the Rebellion officer. I think that's a good place for him. And next up, we have the same guy, but shirtless. And that's a big plus. There's no shirtless operators in the game. He gives off a kind of Rambo kind of vibe, despite being virtually identical otherwise. And you can't really see it too well probably in the video, but this eye right here does not have a pupil in it. He's kind of like blind in that eye, which just adds to this whole Rambo aspect. Very, very cool thing. I fucking love like a Rambo aspect and stuff, so I'm gonna have to put this guy. Definitely my favorite operator so far. Easiest here. And next up we have Vipta, Sister of the Revolution. Um, yeah, I mean this is the standard female revolution officer. That's all I can really say about that. No, not really any bulging muscles because I mean I guess most females wouldn't really have that. That's just kind of a genetic thing. Um, so I'm gonna have to put her a little bit lower because I personally am a big fan of having the muscles, but she's definitely still better than that rebellion leader guy. He's just way too standard. He almost looks like a standard T operator. Because a lot of the T operators easily could pass for like a rebellion leader guy. Looking more like an officer is definitely very nice. Then we have the CT Master Agents. So we have Chef de Squadron Rouchard. Basically, same thing as this guy, all the way down here in the purple area, except the hat fits her a lot better. It looks a lot like cleaner of a skin. Everything actually goes together. I think even the color might have changed a little bit, goes a lot better with the rest of the skin. Definitely a much better looking operator. Uh, I would actually say it's just a really clean skin. Like everything goes well together here. I'm gonna put her top of the B tier. She's not as good as having a watch or these very unique kind of skins, but she's still very, very good skin at the top of the game. And we have Commander Davita Goggles Fernandez, which is in a full scuba gear. Got like the wetsuit and everything, the flippers, the air tanks. And got the scuba goggles, which are kind of like rainbowish, which always look kind of cool, and clearly have some level of shading to them. You can see when we change like the lighting, they change a bit, which is very cool. Just having a scuba diver is very unique in CS. I don't think I've ever seen a scuba dive operator. I don't know if we'll ever see too many of them, so I'm definitely gonna have to say she's one of the better ones here. Definitely not an S tier. I would put her around here. A bit more unique than this guy. Um, Not as cool as just the basic kind of buff like Vietnam soldier. And yeah. Then the final operator is Commander Frank Wetsucks Baround, who even has the wetsuit on his head. I don't think she did. Yeah, and I think that's really what pushes him slightly over, and not having those massive propane tanks makes him a lot more simple, because this kind of gives her a lot more behind her, so if you're like sitting by a wall, this will actually stick out, but if you're sitting by a wall, he doesn't have that to stick out, which actually gameplay advantage right there over the other skin. And I think the skin itself just looks cleaner, having the full headgear as well, which I think should have been on both skins personally. Like not having the headgear and showing her hair instead was a bit weird. And yeah, so for that, he's gonna definitely rank up higher than her, but I still don't think he's about this guy. And that is actually all the operators in this collection, I'm pretty sure. Yep. So yeah, that's really it for my opinions on the operators. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.